My name is Ana Aguirre. I'm an artist here at Studio 18. This show is about inspirations. And in this case, I decided to do inspirations with flowers because flowers inspire me love. Inspiration is love. In this case, I decided to arrange my paintings in a certain way. It goes to warm in that corner toward centerpiece that is kind of medium neutralized, and then cool colors. Even though reds and pinks and purples are warm, they're more cooler color. The idea that I had to put the paintings this way was actually because the composition going from warm to cool has a good flow, plus the size of the painting were very, equal in a certain way to have them this way. Plus the orchids was the last one that I finished. So I wanted them to be like an impact when people say it, even though the roses were the first one with the name of the show. In this wall, I have 3 pieces that actually represent the first flowers that I painted. This one, it's a beautiful piece that I did for a couple of friends that they got married like 7 years ago. So it was also a wedding gift. It represents love. And this flower for me, that is the Guerrera daisy, represents love in any mean. It's like you want to give a simple flower and you just one is beautiful. In this one, I did an arrangement. Then I have these other 2 pieces that actually are love for my mother in both sides of my family. My mother-in-law has the original of the Yellow Spring painting. This is a print that I have here. The original is in Venezuela. And the original from the red one belongs to my mother that right now she is very sick in Venezuela, but I have the original in my studio. But anyway, I decided to put the prints of both of them because they're a couple, both my mother and my husband's mother. After doing this show of inspirations and using the flowers as my main object, because flowers transmit love when you give them to someone else, I decided that I'm going to go to more standard still objects, like not alive objects. Let's see, it's a new investigation for my future.
Hi, I'm John Anzac. I'm a sculptor of ceramics at Studio 18 in the Pines in Pembroke Pines. The pieces I have here, as you can see, I have a skull here. This skull is a decanter. It's to basically hold your favorite alcohol. This is a new piece that I started. These pieces were actually fired upside down. So the name of the pieces is Flowing Up. So these pieces were fired at the position that they were fired in right now, and then they were turned upside down and fired in the glaze process, so the glazing is moving upwards. The rest of the pieces I have here are my normal pieces. I have what's called a leather hard slab container that was put together. It's got an interesting glaze on it. We never know what the glaze is going to turn out to. We have a vase here that was made from slabs. And then we also have a vase here that was made from coils. Now the very last piece here on the end is actually a piece that's going to be destroyed on the very last day. What has happened is this piece has a large structural crack in the bottom. Everybody wants it, but unfortunately, it's a piece of garbage. And as beautiful as it is, it will be destroyed on the very last day of the show. One of the things that inspires me is we have this happen all the time. And guaranteed within another month, I will be remaking this piece all over again. The inspiration is never give up. Always keep on trying and until I get a beautiful piece that turns out that I can sell. So there's my inspiration.
Hello, I'm Michael Harris, and I'm a sculptor, primarily working in wood, laminated plywood. This piece I've made where I've put it in, it's 8 separate sections, and they interlock almost in a tongue and groove fashion so that the front areas cover up all the lines or where the connections are. So it looks like one continuous piece. This piece I was inspired by, of course, the Everglades, or natural water resources that we have here in Florida. So this one, I needed to take it larger. I just needed to make a big piece to sort of prove to myself I can make something at a large scale that I can take to a higher level. This particular piece is actually plays back on when I was in grad school and did a large scale installations. This piece, I'm bringing some of that back. It's where not only the piece fits just the wall, I would like to maybe do other works in the future where they maybe wrap around a wall, they really play into the space or wherever it's going to be permanently installed. I'd like to have them all have just an attachment to the actual space they're in.
I'm Luis Izquierdo with Studio 18 here in Pembroke Pines, and I'm a visual artist. The show inspirations, my inspiration for this show is particularly my heritage, being Cuban, and music is a big influence, particularly with Celia Cruz and the piece that I did of Louis Armstrong. My style is definitely inspired by a combination of things. My grandfathers were both body shop men. You know, I had a grandfather who used to work for Budweiser and for Truly Nolan, who painted the lettering on the side of those cars. My other grandfather had a custom car shop, where he customized Corvettes and Mustangs and all those kinds of cars. So I grew up around that environment in a body shop. My stencil work, my line work I think is inspired largely by that. I actually been thinking a lot about taking my stencil work and actually applying it in ways that haven't been thought of doing it before. I'm hoping to, become more complicated, more layers, and eventually start doing landscapes with some of the stencil work, incorporating some of that street art inspired stuff into, actual landscapes, Florida landscapes, etc.
Hi, my name is Dawn Verhalowigan, and I am a graphite pencil artist at Studio 18 in the Pines. For this show, which is titled Inspirations, I was inspired originally by the clay dresses designed and made by Stephen Sylvester. I saw last year at Pembroke Pines Art Festival that he had models walking around wearing these amazing clay and mixed media dresses, and I found them very inspiring. Then our own photographer here, Juan Prieto, did a photo shoot with the models wearing the dresses. And when I saw those photos, I was so impressed. I wanted to do a series of drawings based on both of those, the original dresses and then the photos. And fortunately for this show, both of those gentlemen gave me permission to use their originals, which were my inspirations, alongside my own work. And that's what you see here, the 3 original dresses made by Stephen, and the photos originally taken by Juan, and my work then to show that progression of inspiration. I really am proud of this particular exhibit because of the fact that it is a collaborative effort, which is not something I've done before. I'm pleased with the way my work came out, and I particularly like the way it was displayed with the photos and with the original dresses. So I'm very happy with this exhibition.
Hi, I'm Angela Padron, and I'm one of the artists here at Studio 18. I'm an illustrator as well as a fine artist, and I'm here to show you some of my work that's on display right now in the Inspiration Show. Okay, so for each of my children's book illustrations, I start off with a pencil drawing, and then I do a pastel, watercolor, and colored pencil painting, and I scan it into Photoshop, and I adjust the colors and clean it up, and then I put my original drawing electronically on top of that, so that's how I get the outline. So each of them are done in the same way, so it gives that hand-drawn look while still being able to execute them digitally. And it gives me the flexibility of being able to change color, move things around without having to redo the entire drawing. And so all the illustrations that you'll see are done in that way. Okay, so the other side of me besides being an illustrator is that I'm a fine artist, and my favorite technique to use is batik. And batik is a technique where you use wax, resist, and dye on fabric. So this series of batiks were inspired by some of my favorite musicians when I was younger, when I used to jam on the guitar. And we have Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, and Eric Clapton, and they were all done the same way, using wax-resistant dye. And then I even added a little bit of some 3D effect with some real guitar strings.
My name is Benoit Menashe. I'm the curator of art in Pembroke Pines. I take care of the Glass Gallery and Studio 18. The name of the exhibit is Inspirations. What makes people create is inspiration. Every artist is being inspired by something else. We call it the muse. The muse, it can be a person, it can be a feeling, it can be an emotion, it can be just a plain trunk of a tree. It doesn't make a difference. Inspiration is everywhere, and to be an artist, you have to be able to grab it, to be inspired and create.